this meditation Bergs that happened on Sunday has like fundamentally changed like the course of a lot of shit in my life. And I don't really know why I hadn't done it prior to that. And the thing that was most special about it was the visualization of the future. It wasn't just living and thinking about the present. I was like, where the do I want to go and how am I going to get there? And it just all became so clear. Welcome back to another episode of the Ben and Berg Show with your favorite MBA and high school dropout, talking everything crypto, business, and personal growth. And today we have a personal growth episode on my life-changing 10-minute meditation, Bergs. I came in as one person and left as a different person. And today I'm going to talk about what on earth happened, what I thought about, and the clarity that I got from this meditation. And did I call you, Bergs? I sent you a voice message afterwards. I don't know what happened afterwards.
I got this VM and he was like, oh man, I just had this meditation. Oh man, it all made sense. It was just amazing. I left my phone in the car and oh my God. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, mate. It's on like a Saturday or Sunday. I'm like, who is this guy? He's selling me the absolute world. Everything he does is the best. It's amazing. Even during the week, you're like, oh man, I got so sick. It's the sickest I've ever been. Every time you get sick, it's either the sickest you've ever been or something you've done is the best I've ever done. No one's ever done it this good. It's so good, mate. It is so good. Either that or you're legitimately getting sicker and sicker each time you get sick. This one sounded pretty bad.
I genuinely think it was the sickest I've ever been. So do we want to wind back to should we just start with the meditation? Let's go with
the meditation. Let's go.
Straight in the beans. So, Bergs, I wake up. I don't even know what day it was. I think it was a Saturday. So, for context, fam, I was absolutely crook as a dog for 3 or 4 days last week. Got home. I was just been sick of like lying in bed watching just crap on TV. Get home. It's a Saturday. Sitting around doing absolutely like nothing. That was a Sunday. Sitting around doing absolutely nothing. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Just like crap. I did nothing that night before. I was like, right, fuck this. I'm going to get up and do something. I'm going for a walk. So I go up to the gorge, and for those people, that know Launceston, sort of like water, picturesque, grass, mountains, it's really nice. Went out for a walk. Got to there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my phone in the car. Don't really go for walks and leave my phone in the car. I usually listen to a podcast. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Why don't I just go with it? Berg's always been telling me, like, go for a walk without, your phone. Right, mate, right.
That's the life hack, mate. That's the real touching grass.
It is a game changer, and I'm going to get into it. So I left my phone in the car, went for a walk, and of course I got lost. Briefly, because I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have Google Maps. This is the epitome of a tech founder that lives on his phone, doesn't take his phone, and is lost in in
classic,
nature.
Mate. Classic.
So found my way and went for a walk, and I found myself like I was pacing, like I was nearly jogging how fast I was walking. Like I was don't know why I was just trying to go somewhere, right, in my mind. I was like, fuck, Ben, it's a Sunday, chill out. Like, let's just relax. So took it back, went from, basically jogging to walking and just trying to take it all in. I was actually feeling really good. I was like, fuck, like, no podcast, no noise. It's just nature. Like, I'm feeling good. Went up going to the bridge and got to a tree. And I was like, oh, that's a nice bit of grass there. And you know how the dogs, they try and find like a little like spot to sit down. Like I did that, like a little like 360, trying to find a little patch.
You sniff, and then you do a couple of rotations, and then you're like, this is the spot. I'm sitting down here. This is the
spot. So take a position up on the hill in the grass. I was looking out. I was like, fuck, I'm feeling pretty good. This is nice. I'm gonna do a meditation. And mate, just close the eyes. And for context, I've been using the Calm app now for a little while. I have done meditation course in the past. Went to the Calm app because it's just sort of easier when you have someone like walking you through it. But I just did it without that. Sat down, did like 9 or 10 deep breaths. And I did this visualization exercise where I was, after a couple of minutes, like just breathing and sitting there and just taking it all in. I started visualizing where I wanted to be in 5 years' time. And I just thought about I'd close my eyes. I was like just thinking really hard, like, where do I want to be in 5 years' time? What do I look like? Like, where am I? Like, I visualize myself at a particular spot in time and what the perfect scenario would be like. And I was in America, Bergs. I was in New York. Was buzzing. We had the collective shift. We had an office over there. We had a team. I was attending these masterminds. I was attending these events. I was speaking. I was doing all this stuff. And it was America. I was like, fuck. I started getting real jittery. I was like, fuck, I've got to go. Like, I'm going to move to America. Like, and I opened my eyes. I was like, fuck. I was like, okay, take a deep breath. Settle down, Ben. And then I went back to meditation, and I thought about, okay, let's be more serious here. How do I get there? What are the steps? Let's not think about just the perfect scenario at the end of the rainbow. Let's think about how we're actually going to get there. What's the journey? What's the next step? And I started going through a step by step in my mind of how I was going to get there. And it really brought me back to, really winning in Australia, owning the education research space in Australia, delivering more content, and being more focused on what I need to deliver. Because I realized in this meditation I was just doing way too much. I was trying to do everything. We're trying to do everything. I was like, we need to niche down. And we know what that niche is now. We've been doing this strategy work for a long time, but it's tripling down and doing exactly that thing. And the podcast, just so much stuff was going through my mind, but it just became clear to me of okay, where I want to be in the future is I want to continue to, personal growth is such a massive part of my life. I want to be surrounded by smart people. I need to get out of Tasmania. That was another big thing. I was I need to get the fuck out of there ASAP and move back to Melbourne. And then I need to get to the US in some way, shape or form in the future, just because there's so much more opportunity there, a lot of smart people. There's just there's capitalism at core. There's just so much happening there in crypto. That's the place to be, but there's steps to get there. And at the end of this meditation, I just had so much clarity on what the fuck I actually need to do and what we need to do as a business. I nearly ran back to the car, got on a voice message to Bergs, so fired up, and went back home and I just punched out a heap of work. I punched out 4 hours of work, and I was never, I've never been so clear about what I've needed to achieve. And that has flowed right through this week. And I guess the other things that have flowed through from that meditation was this idea of clarity, efficiency, and productivity. I tend to build myself up really and get really stressed and anxious about how much stuff I need to do, because I try and pack a million things in the day that's never going to be possible. And Bergs and I have our strategy conversations around the business, and I come to him and we end up talking about how much things we have to do, but these calls are so good because we really nail down on the number one thing. And that has helped me so much this week of really focusing down on the number one thing and being productive and efficient. And I also had this self-awareness talk around meditation. That's the best thing about meditation, is this self-awareness piece about seeing the downsides or seeing what's going on in your life where you could improve. And one of those things was my phone consumption. So I downloaded this app. I spoke about it last week on the pod around my phone consumption. I was spending 6 and 6.5 hours on my phone, and I'd picked up my phone 160 times in a day last week. 160. And I was like, holy shit, 160 times. What the fuck? So this week I have halved that, more than that. I've picked up my phone on average 50 times. I've reduced my phone usage to around, yesterday I think it was around 2.5 hours. I think it was around 2 hours. I'm physically leaving my phone in a different place. I don't take it with me. I don't have it next to my bed. I don't have it with me at work. I don't have it when I go for walks anymore. I don't take it to the bathroom. And my clarity and anxiousness and stress has actually come down to the point where I'm so focused now and niche down on what I know I need to do. And I'm not perfect by any stretch, but this meditation, Bergs, that happened on Sunday has fundamentally changed the course of a lot of shit in my life. And I don't really know why I hadn't done it prior to that. And the thing that was most special about it was the visualization of the future. It wasn't just living and thinking about the present. I was where the fuck do I want to go and how am I going to get there? And it just all became so clear.
And this is what people that succeed do. They have a clear goal of where they want to get to, and that's what motivates them and inspires them. And just getting back to your phone, we have this kind of anxiousness that we need to be on our phone. What if someone needs me? What if I've missed something? I haven't been updated. And you train your brain in that way. And then you realize that, and you're okay, I'm going to put this phone away. But then you put the phone away and you're constantly thinking about the phone. It actually gets worse when you try to break the habit. And for me, it gets worse for at least a week. But then after that, I realized, hey, nothing bad happened. No one needed me. If they need me, they're going to call. And you start resetting those loops. And I think I showed you my phone usage where yours was hours and hours and you're trying to get it down. I think mine's down to maybe an hour and a half a day on my phone. And I think it was something half an hour worth of phone calls, 10 minutes of Twitter, like 15 minutes of playing my little pinball game, like, you know, when I want to like disconnect from like work to, you know, going on with my life. And I'd even like to get it further down from there. But the huge point that I've kind of thought about is humans don't allow themselves to be bored anymore. Like we always have to be doing something. We have to be productive. We have to be entertained. We have to be with our friends. We don't allow ourselves to be bored. We don't just go for a walk anymore. No. You can't go for a walk. You got to be pumped up on music. You got to go fast. You have to listen to a podcast. You have to extract every second of every day. And what happens is, if you do that, you're really depriving yourself of the opportunity to be alone with your thoughts. And honestly, man, when you're alone with your thoughts, they come to the surface. It's uncomfortable. And they come to the surface, but you can process them. You can understand yourself better. You can interact with them or just acknowledge them. And that is where the personal growth happens, because you start to understand who you really are and what you really want. And then you can make a plan and you have that vision of the future. And that's exactly what happened to you. I think people really need to do this a lot more.
Yeah, I totally agree. For listeners at home, like we were all busy on our phones and I actually didn't realize that space of like not being on your phone and having that alone time, what comes up. So for example, I was taking my phone to the gym each morning, and you know, after a set, I'd crave dopamine. I'd crave a reward. So I go to my phone and look at Twitter. I've now started taking a notepad and pen to the gym and not taking my phone. Literally, I write down. No, literally, legit. I write down my workout, but I take a pen with me because I have so much thoughts that come up. I wrote like 2 pages of stuff in my mind yesterday when I was at the gym. No bullshit. Like, and this alone time, this space in my mind is so relieving. You sort of you look around and you sort of start taking everything in, and it's like a calmness that goes through your brain when you have this time. I've never experienced it before.
Mate, this is the life hack. This is what I was going to say next. I've started doing that. So I think on the last pod, I was listening to David Goggins. He's like, I'm at the fucking gym. See all this music playing, motherfucker, that pumps you up. Well, guess what? When the time's hard, motherfucker, you're going to have no fucking music. That's why I don't work out without it. So I thought, okay, man. So for like probably the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been working out without music. And what has happened for me is I've worked out a lot faster and harder, and it's easier for me to actually work out because I'm not like, oh, what is this person saying? My mind is actually somewhere else rather than on the activity that I'm doing.
Yes.
So what I've done is all my workout, I've just written on chalk on the wall, and I just, write whatever I'm doing.
That's unreal.
But then I had so many thoughts. I was walking inside to like write on my whiteboard, and then I'm like, stuff this. I just had a little book with me and I was just writing in that. And then I'll write them on the whiteboard for later, and then I'll deliver them to you or whoever tomorrow. And it was just incredible. There was even like, okay, the men's tennis final was on. So I'm working out in my garage, lifting weights, and I hear my wife scream like, oh shit. So I run inside, and then I realize it's a happy scream. I'm like, okay, nothing bad. No one's hurt themselves. And she's like, oh my God, it's championship point with like Djokovic. Oh my God. And normally I'd like walk in, sit down, watch it, all that kind of stuff. I literally go, oh, that's great. Turn around and just went back to my workout. And I didn't think anything of it. And then when I was sitting down after that set, I was like, holy shit. Like I would never do that in my life. I would look for any distraction or whatever it may be to not have to work out. And now I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm about. Until I'm done with this, this is my life. Half an hour later, I'm finished working out. I'm done. Right, let's get on with it.
Dude, we are that is so similar to my experience. Like the analog workout. I smashed through my workout this morning in half the time. I felt great. I probably went harder. And, I don't need to go. I go back and I'm not like needing to go on my phone. I left my phone in the hotel room and I just went to the gym and just like smashed out a set. And I didn't look at it until like, I actually put it in a bag now and put it away from my desk. I don't need to look at it. The clarity you get and I was dreaming last night of like, tasks and strategy and things we need to do in the business. I woke up with a page full of stuff I wrote down. And I think that's honestly maybe because of the phone and the dopamine and scrolling social media, your brain is being compressed by all this artificial bullshit. When if you just leave it alone and you have this mental clarity, you have this time to think and articulate ideas and thoughts and patterns and their self-awareness comes through. Like, it's like this phone, if you think about, just pressing down on you or your thoughts and your ambitions. That is what I've realized this phone does. And what I am worried about is me slipping back into it, because it's so easy to slip back into bad habits. So fucking easy. But I found listeners at home that may be struggling with this. Really, the thing that has helped me is put in a physical barrier. Literally put your phone in a bag away. When you're lying in bed, put it on the desk or put it in another room. Because if you have it next to you, it's like a drug. It's addictive. You just see it and you want to pick it up. But if you put in physical barriers, it will help you so much. It's helped me so much.
I was watching TV and I just saw my left hand just looking for my phone. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I consciously don't even want to pick my phone up. And even sometimes, like, I'll be like zombie scrolling. I'll be on Twitter. I'll close Twitter. I'll go to my home screen and I'll go to apps and I'll press Twitter again. I'm like, why is this happening?
Yes.
Isn't that weird? I'm like, I don't want to do this, but then my brain made me do it.
I've done that before, man. When I'm scrolling Instagram, I leave Instagram and then I go back into Instagram. I'm like, what the fuck? Was I just here?
Isn't that so weird? There's like a void, but your brain just wants that dopamine. It's like, give it to me. Keep pressing the button. Give me that dopamine. That is absolutely crazy. One thing I want to say on this as well is the life hack of going for a walk or a ride or a run with no tech, just you and your thoughts. And I listened to a pod ages ago and a guy was saying he used to ride down by the ocean and he used to hate doing it. He'd absolutely flog it on his bike and he'd ride for 40 minutes and he'd be exhausted and he'd be pissed off. He'd be listening to music pumping in his ears to get him pumped up. And he thought, you know what, one day I'm just going to ride a bit slower. I'm going to go down the pier. I'm going to ride usual route and then come back down. And he did it and he just took in the sights, looked at the different people, looked at the ocean, felt the breeze, felt really awesome. You know what the end result was? It was 43 minutes. It was 3 minutes longer than him absolutely flogging it because he was enjoying himself and he was going. And it was like, the experience was like a 10 out of 10 compared to a 1 out of 10. Yeah. And why is it that, like you were saying, when you started walking, you start walking at a pace, and I do that as well. Like
charging, man. I was like, I didn't realize. I was like, where am I fucking going? I'm going to finish the walk in 5 minutes. What's the point?
Yeah, I was almost walking just before you start jogging, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, where's the fire? I don't understand. But I think it's because when you're working and you're fast and you're in operations and you're chopping around, and then you take that to the next activity you do. And I'm like, no, and I just slow right down, and that's when you really get the benefits of going for a walk. Like, it's not about going the fastest and completing the task. It's about what it does for you mentally and relaxing you. Yeah,
spot on. The other thing I've implemented this week is self-talk. And, self-talk, not necessarily not like affirmations, but literally talking to myself. Because I in my head, I feel as though there's two sides of my brain. There's the one that's, stressed out, need to do more, maybe anxious, needs to just go. And the other side is the more balanced, natural, approach where I use that side of my brain to talk to the other side of my brain and just go, man, it's okay. Relax. You're doing enough. Things are okay. We just relax. Let's just walk at our own pace. Let's leave the phone behind. Let's go for a walk. Like it's kind of weird saying that out loud, but I'm like having a conversation in my head with two different characters that's trying to, and it really does work. It really does allow me to, reduce the stress or just relax sometimes. It doesn't always work, but I've only started this week. And whenever I feel anxious or stressed, or I know there's something big coming up, or like I need to go, I just have a conversation. It's like, it's okay. We're good. We're doing a lot. Like, look at everything we've done the last month. Look at the results. Like, it's okay. We're going to be all right. And that's massively helped.
It's like having an angel and devil on your shoulder, right?
Yeah, dude, 100%.
But actually recognizing that and mediating your own thoughts is really, really advanced, man. That's incredible. I wish I could do that a lot more. Like I recognize it and I do it, but then I'm like, but what about this? What about that? It's like one of the consequences of being a deep thinker and thinking probably too much to the point where it affects you. Yeah. Where you're like, what about all these scenarios? Like, but none of those have happened. What are you even doing? Like, just focus on today. Live in that day tight container and just be today. I can do it a lot of the time, but sometimes I just can't. And I find the times I can't do it is if I'm a little bit unwell, or I haven't slept properly, or I haven't
100%.
been eating right, or I haven't exercised, then that other side starts to take over. I think it's just that touch of like stress or anxiety where it just motivates you enough to do that, but you focus on it a bit too much, and that side starts to win.
Yeah, and I, don't get me wrong, there's definitely like peak stress points or peak, thoughts that, or stress particularly, or where there's something I can't control. I'm a control freak. If there's things I can't control, I really struggle to tame my emotions around that. So this is just day to day, just sort of getting used to it and getting better at it. But anyway, long story short, I think what I'm really trying to get at is like, have a sit down with yourself. Don't take your phone. Go to a mountain. Go to some grass, and just think about where you want to be in 5-10 years time. Like, it's kind of a hard thing to do, but if you can sit there and just really think about where you want to be, take a 30-second break, and then go back in and think about what is the next thing you can do to try and achieve that 5-year goal, that 10-year goal. What's the next step, and visualize that and just fucking get after it. Like that's something that's really helped me.
Absolutely. And as a framework, the 3 key things you want to look at is, where do you need to be in the world to do the activities you want to do and to win at those? What do you need to do? So what game are you in? What game are you playing? Is it, work? Do you want to be in crypto? Do you want to be in AI? Do you want to be the best elite athlete at this obscure sport that's only in Romania or something? That's where you need to be. And then who you're with is the other choice. So what you do, where you do it, and who you're with. So who you're with can either be your partner that you choose in life that supports you, or it could be the team that you're with. Because if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go together. So the team you have around you to help you achieve those goals, they're the top 3 things to focus on to succeed.
Brilliant. Amazing. Cool, mate. Do you want to get into this podcast and reading books piece?
Mate. Yes, please. Okay. So there was a thing that Lex posted, Lex Friedman, famous podcaster, about reading a book every week for the entire year. People are slamming him about it. I mean, it's great. Go read a book every year. He can talk about it on his podcast. It'll help him with his guests. He'll learn a lot from it. He's a very smart guy. And I got to thinking about it, and we listened to, like, how many times have you listened to a podcast and then like you tell your mate or your boss, you're like, oh, listen to this podcast and this happened and they talked about that, and you get all pumped up. But then that's it. You don't really do anything about it. You kind of just talk about some of the lines you heard to kind of feel smart or feel inspired. And how many of those lessons have you actually implemented? Like, the majority of people would have read Atomic Habits. How many of them actually took the lessons in that book and created a habit? I know you have, and I have, and that's been life-changing. And even people like Naval say, you're best off just to read the top 100 books over and over again and deploy the lessons from them than reading millions and millions of books. So if you read fewer things, like let's say you spend 10 hours reading a book, spend 20 hours implementing it. This is my new thing where I read a lot, but I want to reread those books. Because if I read, let's say, one of Nassim Taleb's books like Skin in the Game or Anti-Fragile or Black Swan, the lessons in there are just so incredible. They're off the hook. Like, you literally read a page, have to put it down for half an hour and think. If I went back and read that book again and again and again, how much would I learn? How would it change me? And how would I be able to deploy those lessons to just be more efficient and effective in everything I do in my life?
That's exactly right, mate. Like, I think it's there's consuming and then there's doing. And I think, for a lot of people, like including me, I can't consume that much in terms of the ratio to implementation. If you keep listening to podcasts and read books, there's so many new ideas and so many new tactics and whatever else. Like, it's impossible to implement. So if you just keep consuming, it won't always equal output. But I think it's just like trying something new, implementing it, giving it a go, and just improving 1% day over day. Like Atomic Habits, what I took out of that was like, even if it's just one thing. For me, what I learned about Atomic Habits is that for example, humans crave a reward after doing a hard thing, and you can do that strategically, and you can also do it to your demise. And that's exactly what I just spoke about earlier in this podcast around like using my phone at the gym. I do a hard set and then my brain wants a reward, so it goes on my phone. You take that reward away and all of a sudden now I don't need a reward. I can just go without it. So, trying to take those things, highlighting things down, writing them down, whatever, to try and implement and just get those 1% improvements.
This is it. And once you've read a decent amount. Like for me, it takes a while to click, but Atomic Habits clicked because of about 20 other things I've read or heard, and they're all saying the same things in a slightly different way. Dr. Phil would say, and he would say, if you want to change something, you need to work out what your currency is. And I didn't understand what he was saying. But when you look at Atomic Habits and understand the loops and dopamine loops and rewards and cues, then you get what he's saying. And it's just like you're connecting all those little dots and little quotes you've heard and things that you've read in books. You're like, holy shit, all of this makes sense now.
Yeah. One thing I do is I read with purpose. And I say that by like, I will pick a book or a podcast around a topic that I'm currently struggling with. So rather than just going out and reading some random book that you've really got no interest in or that you're not really willing to focus on, find an area of your life or your business or your career or whatever that you're trying to work on that's relevant right now, and then read something around that particular topic because you'll be more motivated to go and implement it. For example, we wanted to really hone down on our finances in Q1 of this year, really like get to know our numbers and really just improve our overall, I guess, or for me anyway, financial literacy. So I went and read Profit First, the book, and I haven't finished all of it, but I've read half of it and I've already implemented well, not even implemented. I feel as though I've 3 to 5x my understanding of where our numbers are at, and that's helped me because I needed that. But if I went and read a book on, I don't know, like legal or whatever HR, that's not really what I don't care about that right now, right? I might care about it down the line, so I'll go read about it. But if you're consuming stuff that you can go and action or implement straight away, I think it makes it so much easier.
This is why I love doing my MBA, because what you would do is, okay, let's say you're doing marketing, and it was funny. Marketing was our first unit that we did, Josh and I. I'm like, gross marketing ads. We didn't really understand. It was about strategy. And we get into it, and it's a 12-week unit. And throughout that, you have to look at business cases, like Harvard business cases. You learn a lot of strategy, look at what other companies have done, and you have to do assignments that are related to your business where you're currently working. So you're applying all of those learnings directly to your business. And that is just phenomenal. It's like reading those books or doing a course and applying it straight away. It is the best feeling where you get to action the things that you're learning, and it just deepens and strengthens your learning so much, and you get so much reward out of doing it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
Spot on. And Bergs reads more than me. Everyone listening, like I'm trying to read more and Audible. But one thing that has helped is like when I get a book is I've spoken about it on the podcast before is get the Audible book and read the book at the same time. The consumption honestly is like game changing. You really do retain that information, and then get a highlighter out. I've started highlighting those topics or points or just make notes as you're reading rather than just reading for the sake of reading, like consume and then act on it. It's really helped me.
I highlight, and then I've got sticky notes in my books as well. Even when I was studying, I'd get the PDFs and I'd highlight them, and I had like a little pen and I could write on them as well on my screen. And now when I go back, I can search those for like that business case I wanted to, I remember something about. It's awesome. Yeah, and in terms of reading, so I always have 3 types of books on the go. So I'll have a philosophy book, I'll have a science fiction book, and I will have a non-fiction book. So at the moment, and I do those for different reasons. Philosophy is kind of to expand my mind, get perspective, and understand the world if I'm in that mood. The science fiction is just to relax and dream bigger and think about something I don't usually think about and just go on an adventure. And then the non-fiction book is to learn something specific that I want to understand. So the ones I have on the go at the moment, reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius again, and my God, the second read on that is incredible. I actually got onto Chat GPT and I said, pretend you're Marcus Aurelius, and then started asking it questions, and it was just phenomenal because it's consumed meditations and all of this kind of stuff. That was really insightful and amazing. Reading Revelation Space, which is a big kind of space opera, and the non-fiction one at the moment, I am still reading Anti-Fragile, but I'm going to start The Psychology of Money because that's the challenge I have at the moment, is how I'm currently thinking about money, and I need to understand it more, and that book is going to help me.
Brilliant, dude. Okay, good stuff. So awesome takeaways there. Hopefully that's been helpful. If you are new to the podcast, every week on our personal growth episodes, Bergs and I give a bit of a personal wrap up of some shit that's been going on in our lives, particularly around food. So we have a meal of the week, and also Bergs loves a meme. if any of you people know Berg's or all of his mates, OG Berg's on his Facebook page was unbelievable. Like if you followed Berg's on his Facebook page, like you just cop 20 to 20. This was your corporate life, mate. This is what you did in your corporate job. Sit there and repost 20 to 30 memes a day.
I miss that so much because what would happen is I would get tons of memes in WhatsApp. I still do. I get it in WhatsApp and Signal. And I had the Facebook app on my phone. And when I was like waiting for an elevator or something like that, I'd take my phone out, post them on Facebook, and everyone loved it. And I miss posting it a lot. And I miss the reactions and making people happy. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want that Facebook app on my phone. I don't want to have to constantly go on it and manage it and do all this stuff. And my life's a lot better for it, but I miss it all the time. Like it is a hard decision to make, but my life is better for not doing that.
Yeah. I used to love it. Anyway, so Bergs will crack into meme of the week. Give us for the listeners, mate.
All right.
What do we got?
Let's go. I was going to do the meal, but let's go meme. All right, here we go. So this one hit me in the feelings. This is adulting, verb, and it's got a definition. On the left, it's got a photo with daytime, and there's old mate at his computer, and he's just thinking about sleep. And then nighttime, old mate sleeping in his bed, and he's just thinking about work. And the subtext is to perpetually exist in the absurd. And mate, this got me so deep in the feelings where right now I'm knackered, I'm exhausted, I just want to sleep. And I guarantee you tonight I'll have the power of 1,000 suns when I try to go to sleep. And I'll be thinking about product and how do we get more customers and how do we drive revenue. And I won't be able to sleep. And it's just this stupid cycle. Do you have this? I'm not alone here, am I? Please tell me other people have this too.
Yeah, no, man. Like the one on the right, they're just lying in bed thinking of work. I get it in the mornings when I dream and then I have to get out of bed because there's so much in my head. It's like it gets built up over the evening, and then as I wake up, I'm like, fuck, it's like 6 a.m. I can't go back to sleep because I'm just like exploding with ideas. So no, I think you're spot on.
Mate. All right. And here we go. This one had me in stitches. So staff, we need more help, please. Manager, it's okay. I just hired 2 people. Then the 2 people, they've literally got Beavis and Butthead with their shirts off, with stylized as DeAntwort, as Ninja and Yolandi from DeAntwort. And it's just so funny. These guys just look crazy. And mate, this got me in the feels as well because it connects like a rap group that I really like. I just watched Beavis and Butthead do the universe. I love those guys. And everyone has been stitched up by their manager when you've been shouting out for more help all of the time for over a year or 2. And they're like, we finally hired someone and they're an absolute potato. And like, seriously, like these are the people that show up to you like, oh my God, how are these people going to help me? Oh, just ridiculous. Not qualified for the job. These guys are rappers. They shouldn't be working at a crypto company. Like, complete stitch up. And then finally, I saw this on Hacker News and this just had me absolutely in stitches. I posted this in Collective Shift. So Hacker News, and I'm going to read this out. I currently have 10 fully remote engineering jobs. The bar is so low. Oversight is non-existent. And everyone is so forgiving for underperformance. I can coast about 4 to 8 weeks before a given job fires me. Can you imagine that, having 10 jobs? And then he goes on to say, currently on a $1.5 million run rate for comp this year because he has so many jobs. And the interviewing process is much faster today. Companies are desperate. It takes me 2 to 3 hours of total effort to land a job with thousands to choose from. Old mate is rocking 10 jobs, sitting at home, doing nothing on 1.5 million USD per year. Can you imagine? Mate, holy crap. Like, we are doing life completely wrong, mate. Like, could you imagine like the package you'd get and the severance and all this sort of nonsense? Because you're an engineer and you do nothing and they're so forgiving. You're just like, oh, I got COVID for 2 weeks. Oh, this happened. Oh, that. And you just put in the minimal effort. $1.5 million. And when you lose a job, you spend 2 to 3 hours, you get another one. That is insane.
I want to see who this guy is running 10 jobs at once.
Oh, mate. Sounds like an absolute lad. All right. Let's go, mate. Meal of the week. Ben, you are up. It's not even a meal, mate. Describe to the podcast listeners what you have here on the screen.
Okay, so I made a roast chicken on the weekend and it was unbelievable. Unfortunately, I was going to take a before and after. I was going to take a before and after photo, but I forgot to take the after photo. So we just got the before photo. So what we're seeing here is literally just a raw chicken, but it's about the journey, Bergs. It's about the journey.
No, listen to you. You're like, I did something and it was unbelievable. This is you like, I read a book. Oh, it was amazing. It was unbelievable. I'm the only person on the planet that's read a book. Oh, I meditated. Oh my God, it was the best meditation in the world. I got sick. It was the worst illness. Oh, I made a chicken. It was incredible. Like absolutely everything you do is the best in the world. I want a third-party independent review on this chicken.
Mate, my brother gave it a 10 out of 10. That's independent.
Mate, no. It's because you cooked and he's in the house and he's also your brother. I want blind taste tests by a Michelin star chef.
Mate, this thing was succulent. It was juicy. I put the flavoring on the inside of the chicken. I was like every 10 minutes just spooning the chicken stock and the fat over the chicken in the oven. Like this thing was succulent. It was juicy. We had like roast vegetables. This thing was, mate, it was 10 out of 10. It was...
It looked seriously pumped. Did you brine this chicken beforehand? Or was it just straight out of the...
Straight out of the bag, mate. And I just jammed it with a heap of like, we had oil, butter, parsley, coriander, garlic, like crushed up garlic.
Love it.
Heated up the butter and then like poured it through the middle of the chicken. And then I also poured on the outside and with 250 mils of chicken stock on the bottom of the pan with some onions. And then every 10 minutes, mate, just spooning that over the chicken. It was so juicy.
You can tell by the way it looks that it's going to be good. Like, unless you overcooked it, it's fine. Look at how plump that breast is in those legs. It's incredible.
Yeah, mate.
Like,
that's a Tassie chicken right there.
Mate, well done. There we go.
What do you got for me?
Mate, just a little bit of lazy barbecue, mate. So these are just some old school chicken skewers that you get from the local supermarket and a random salad. So let me take you through this, mate. Got the chicken skewers. And I've got this little Weber Go Anywhere. It's a small little thing. And I'm just in the backyard and it's a perfect way to disconnect. After a day of dealing with your bullshit, I just go out in the backyard, fire up the charcoal, and then just start cooking on it, right? And mate, the old school taste of those skewers, like, I don't know, man. When I was in like uni and we'd have barbecues, we'd always buy these, drink it Tooheys Extra Dry. It just brought back all these memories. Really nice and charred, delicious over the charcoal. And we got a salad there. And it's just one of those salad bags you get. But it was really good. It's got beetroot, feta, walnuts, spinach. Absolutely incredible. I'd give this like 8.5 out of 10, mate. It just made my day. It took about 10 minutes to prep the entire meal. Everyone had smiles on their dials afterwards. And it was just the perfect meal for the end of the day, mate.
Can I say that salad looks elite? Like it looks just so fresh and like, clean and just tasty.
Mate, it's literally like a $3 bag from Woolworths. You open the bag, you throw it in a bowl, and you just add the ingredients and you stir it up. It's 30 seconds to make that. That is a life hack for everyone out there that doesn't want to eat vegetables or cook them. Just have a bag of salad, half a plate of salad, a little bit of protein, you're done.
Get it in, yeah.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
Nice work, mate. So we'll wrap up with accountability of the week. We did a bit of a deeper update last week, so we'll just do a quick update, Bergs. Any sort of progress on the dunking?
Mate, I'm doing well. So I've been lifting like a mad dog and I think I'm hitting a plateau, man. Like it's getting real hard to recover. Like the weights are getting heavy. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm working out in... So also when I was talking about working out before, that was 36 degrees. That was like at about 6:30 or 7 at night. Yeah, and it was still 30 something degrees outside. Plus in my garage, it's even hotter. So I've got to work something out there. And I started this week doing the plyo training as well. So I'm kind of transitioning away from super heavy weights, not super heavy, heavy for me, heavy weights, moving more in towards cardio, plyo, and stretching. So I've focused on the weights a lot because my body was just broken. It's what I need to feel well put together. I have zero back pain now. I'm getting better sleep apart from when it's windy as all hell. And that is what my body needed. Now I have that foundation. Now I need to focus on the task-specific things of dunking, which will be plyo and cardio and just playing some basketball as well. That's pretty much my update and focusing on recovery too. So because I'm doing a lot more, I need to recover more. So that'll be going to bed earlier, not playing Apex Legends at night and getting stressed out. Sorry, Joe. It'll be going to bed like winding down about 8 o'clock, reading for half an hour, and then just passing out. Nice, that's man. My update on accountability.
Well, you've been consistent on the gym, man. Like you've been letting me know those. It is fucking hot, and when it's hot and you're boiling, you're sweaty and you're tired, you're like fuck this. But you've been at it, man. So
man, and even like getting out and going for a walk or a ride, you get dehydrated so quickly.
Yeah.
And when you get that, like you just feel like crap. It's hard, even though you have like, Hydrolyte or Powerade, it's hard to catch back up. You feel out of sorts. You don't sleep well. It actually feeds that anxiety loop. And it's like, oh man, it's you just got to stay on top of it. But that's the thing. I'm like, no excuses. No matter what the temperature is, I'm getting out there and I'm doing it. It's like Goggins says, don't let that little inner bitch win. You just have to dominate and you have to do it. Yeah, you're going to be sore. Yeah, you're going to be tired. But so fucking what? Just get towards your goal.
Well done. So on my side, so if you hadn't picked up, Bergs' goal is to dunk a basketball. That's why he's working out a lot at the moment. For me, it's been consistent on social media. So been consistent. I haven't done my YouTube video this week. I'm still trying to find the time because I'm trying to focus my attention at the moment. We've got a big launch coming up in a couple of weeks. There's a lot of work that needs to be done where, there's a heap happening. So we're really excited about trying to keep my focus on that. But man, it's crazy. I'm putting all this effort into like educational content on Twitter, which gets like 10 to 15 likes, maybe 20. And then I'll tweet that I'm thinking of moving to Melbourne. It gets 100 likes and 15,000 views. So I haven't figured out the algo, mate. The algo's all over the shop. Still pushing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's been good. We're ramping up the podcast on Ben and Bergs. Decoding Crypto's back, doing 3 podcasts there a week. Yeah, there's a lot of content happening at the moment, but it's been good, man. I've been consistent and we're getting some really good results.
You're getting good results in numbers, but a lot of inbound as well. Like people are reaching out to you, connecting you with people and recommending you as the guy in crypto, and you've never met them in your life.
Yeah, that's it. It's incredible. It's incredible what content can do.
And that's the other thing. Everyone posts like, quotes or whatever it may be on Twitter, but people want to know about you. The things that have the highest engagement are things that you're doing in your life and decisions you're making, or your analysis of the market and how you see things. I've noticed that a lot. Like the one, moving to Melbourne, I was like, everyone has an opinion, right?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good, man.
Okay, cool. Well, we might wrap it up there. Unless you have a moment of the week, I think we'll probably wrap it up there.
We'll wrap it up there, man. We'll do moment next week.
Wrap it up there. Awesome episode. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can tweet at us or DM us at BenSimpsonAU on Twitter or at BabyBackBerg. If you're interested in getting into crypto, if you want to learn, you want to get from 0 to 1, get over to Collective Shift and do a starter membership. It's going to cost you $1 for 7 days. There's a link in our description. Super easy, super fast. It's going to cost you $1. If you don't like it, you can cancel. And if you're wanting to go the full length, if you really want to get involved, I'd highly recommend checking out the Pro membership. You can get a discount in the link below. Collective, Bergs and I both building Collective Shift, helping everyday people like you listeners out there to succeed in crypto. So get after it. And just thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We're super grateful about the growth of the pod. We doubled our listenership in December. Yep. Hopefully we can continue in January. We're super pumped and amped. We're doing it for you guys. So we'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next week.
Excellent. Thanks so much, champions.